Yeah, hi everyone, good evening. How's everyone? Yeah, so once again we are back. We'll continue our discussion of ancient India. Yeah, a quick attendance before we start. Please mark your attendance. Yeah, good evening everyone. I'm good, Madhu. Okay, okay. Please mark if you are, if please write Titan 1.0 if you are from Titan 1.0. I missed one thing. Uh-oh. Very important thing. What to do now? Okay, anyway, I'll tell you. Okay, so yeah, so if you're from Titan 1.0, 2.0, 1.0, both are there. Okay, great. Okay, so so before we start the class, there is some important information for all of you. Yeah, okay. Uh, so I'll show you the image maybe in the next class, but it's okay. Let me tell you the names. So we have the result of Titan 1.0. Titan 1.0. Right. This was weekly test number 13. Right. Held on 5th March. Right. So yeah. So the person who has topped the examination is Shraddha Chauhan. Shraddha Chauhan. He has scored 107 marks. Amazing. Congratulations, Shraddha. Then there is Mayuri. Top three I'm writing. Mayuri. Then Ankit Abhinandan. Mayuri Nishad and Ankit Abhinandan. Mayuri Nishad has scored 93.4 marks and Ankit Abhinandan has scored 90.74 marks. Other than that, there is Suneet Singh 90.06, Pool Chand 88.74, Shubho Mitra 86.06, Aditya 85.42, Neha Patidar 85.36, Shakti Sahu 84.74, Prachi Sinha again 84.74. This will be posted. I post these images on the Telegram channel. So congratulations, toppers. What I'm Telegram channel. Yeah, so I posted there, right? I hope you all are already added there, right? So yeah, so Telegram channel, I post this image. And second information which I have is about Titan 2.0. Achha, okay. So Titan 2.0 toppers. Titan 2.0 topper is Abhesh Kumar. Abhesh Kumar 94.08. And then Kanika Sharma is 93.4. And Zareen Ansari 82.78. And other in top 10, 4th rank Ritesh Parki 82.06, Sakshi Dimple 76.08, Abhishek Kumar 75.38, Tia Rajput 69.46, Ashwani Verma 68.1, Yashika Sharma 66.8, and Mehak Chaurasia 66.8. Yeah, so Abhish Kumar 94 in Titan 2.0 and Shraddha in Titan 1.0 she's at 107.36. Now the surprising part, or the good part, first of all, congratulations to all the toppers. And the thing is, again, these are internal tests. You might think, what's the relevance? It's okay, well, it's just a weekly test, they top. So why are you making so much fuss about it, right? Why so buzz? But try understanding that definitely few of you will be getting selected in 2024. Yeah, let's understand that part. So few of you will be selected in 2024. So now, if you can take 2024 May as the target, okay, let's target this examination and let's focus only on this examination. It's already, or you can say it's almost more than 1 year away, right? More than 1 year away, and that is the reason pressure today, right? Today, if you see today pressure is not that much, and you need to have this pressure. Right? Please understand that you need to have this pressure so that every week you have some target. If this week I have to finish this much and perform. Right? It's okay if you're not here. It's okay, if you're not making top 10. But if you're taking this pressure every week, right? Every week, gradually what will happen? All the subjects taught in that particular week and 1 week at a time. All the subjects, all the you can say topics will be well covered, and you will have very good. You'll have very good understanding of all the subjects. Yeah. To understand this part, that take these tests very seriously, because if you think that if you only think about this examination, it's very far and you might still remain in comfort zone. Right, please come out of comfort zone, challenge yourself. You have good, you can say, data set, or you can understand that the students with whom you are competing, many of them will be qualifying 2024, right? So you need to beat them, you need to do better than them, right? This is the opportunity. All these weekly tests are the opportunity where you can do better than them, and eventually you will do better than them, right? And you'll also be selected with them, right? So I hope you take this seriously. Please take every test seriously. I'm glad that Titan 2.0, who the batch which was recently started, even the topper here is at 94.08, right? While the topper from Titan 1.0 is at 107.36. The difference is not much. In fact, the second rank is lesser than the topper of Titan 2.0. Yeah, that means Titan 2.0 is a very good batch, right? They're building up. So Titan 1.0, you need to push more. 1.0, please circle without 2.0 is not visible. I'm not getting that point. Yeah, both the batches are here in the chat. Yeah, please confirm if everything is fine technically. I'm audible. You can see the video. A quick thumbs up. I think Muskan is facing some issues. Visible from 2.0. Okay, then I think everything is fine. Yeah, please check at your end, right? Please maybe remove all the cookies, refresh, right? Kill the app and launch the app again, something like that. Okay, so let's get back to our discussion. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, my point was to please take these tests very seriously. They will actually help you finish all the subjects. So till this point, we were discussing that before 1000 BC we had only one book compiled, which was the Rig Veda. By 600 BC, we found more Shruti books. We found 3 more Vedas. We found Brahmanas, right? Then Aranyakas were compiled. and then Upanishads were compiled. Right, towards the end, Upanishads were compiled. All these were called what? They were called as Shruti literature. And then from 600 to 600, right? So not as per the scale, but yes, from 600 BC to 600 AD for another 1000 years, or we can write CE. This can be BCE. Yeah. So we had a lot of Smriti literature. Please tell me what are the Smriti literatures we read yesterday? We discussed Vedangas, Dharma Sutras. Yeah. Yeah, you guys something? Is 2.0 facing an issue? How many of you from 2.0 are finding everything all right? Batch 2.0, please confirm. It is visible. Please join via browser then. Yeah. I have 4 login over here. All 4 are working fine, so I'm assuming that everything is fine. 2.0, all right. Okay, thank you. No issue in 2.0. Then it's a local issue. Please check your computer, laptop, everything. Okay, so Vedangas. Then Dharma Sutras. What else? Mahakavyas. What else? Dharma Sutras, Mahakavyas, Vedangas. 2 more to go. 2 more. Yeah, help me out. Do you remember? Dharma Shastras. Okay, good. Okay, good. Puranas, Upaveda. And last was Shaddarshan. Right, so we were discussing Shaddarshan yesterday. Shaddarshan. Right, so coming back to Shaddarshan. Now, Shaddarshan is technically, so let's start a discussion from here. So I need silence now. Guys, those who are facing issue, because I think it's a very local issue, I think few of you maybe same kind of browser or mobile, something like that must be happening. So please figure out what's the issue. Right, yeah, Arohi, please figure that out. Anyone else? No, see, there is no issue from my side. See, the speed is also good. Most of you are able to see everything fine, everything in the right fashion. So I think there is no issue from our side. So maybe it is something related to the app or basically some new update or something. Maybe update the app, something might have happened. Right? Yeah, go to website. Maybe use Chrome or something. Yeah, everything is fine. So let's please continue. Guys, those who are facing issue, please figure out what's the issue. Okay. So let's continue the discussion. Please join as soon as possible. So Shaddarshan. So technically, what is Shaddarshan? Shaddarshan is basically 6 types of demonstration of truth. Right? Shaddarshan is basically a philosophical take on how to get moksha. Right? How to get moksha. Now these 6 thoughts, let's enumerate them. So basically, jo hai Sankhya. One is Sankhya. Another one is Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa. 4th number is Mimamsa, and 6th is Vedanta. Right? These 6, basically, these are various perspectives we have on how to get moksha in life. Right? How to reach this moksha. Now we have already seen that there was a way which is called as karma marg. Right? We already know this now. Karma marg. Then we know there is some jnana marg. There is bhakti marg. So 3 ways we already know. Anyway, so the point is moksha, which is one of the aim of life. Right? There were 4 aims: dharma, moksha, artha, kama, and moksha. So the ultimate aim or the most important aim of life is moksha. So moksha is one of the aim of life. But how to get moksha? That's the toughest one. Right? Rest 3 you can get. Rest 3 you can understand. It's feasible. You can easily get the other 3 aims of life. But it is actually tough to find moksha. What is the correct way? So on the basis of all these Vedas, on the basis of all these knowledge, these 6 darshan have been formed. This 6 perspective or the demonstration of truth or darshan or philosophy. Darshan is technically nothing but philosophy. Right? So these are the 6 philosophy based upon these thoughts. Mostly inclined towards Upanishad. Mostly, I'm not saying 100%, but mostly inclined towards Upanishad. That means mostly inclined towards Upanishad means Gyan Marg. Remember, knowledge marg. Right, Gyan Marg. So most of them will be inclined towards Upanishad, most of them will be inclined towards Gyan Marg. We'll understand that part, I'll elaborate. But right now, we understand that this Shaddarshan, they are called as orthodox philosophy. Right, or they are called as Astik. In Hindi, it is Astik. Orthodox. Why orthodox? Why Astik? Because it is getting its, you can say, base or its legitimacy, or the source is this Vedic knowledge. This Vedic understanding is the source of these 6 philosophies. Right, so let's understand what all these various paths want. So now again, why 6? Why different perspective? Or why basically these ideas? So there must be different stages, different philosophers, different scholars. Right, now when you read the Upanishad, you will have a different perspective, different thought process. It maybe Upanishad means or Upanishad talks about this is the way of moksha. Suppose I read the same book, same Upanishad, I will have a different take on how to get moksha. So everybody will have a different take. Now it is not about anybody who reads moksha will have a philosophy. The point is, the philosophers, the learned one, who have read a lot of philosophy, who have a lot of knowledge about life, a lot of wisdom. When they read Upanishad, Vedas, and all, they came out with some thought process which actually culminated into a school. Which culminated into a thought process, or basically culminated into a whole, you can say, college of, people who have the same philosophy, who have the same thought. So Shaddarshan is technically a set of, you can say, Sankhya. There is some philosopher or propounder, or basically the director, who is like the main person of Sankhya philosophy, from which this Sankhya got popularized, or the whole idea was formed. And then, there will be a lot of followers of Sankhya philosophy. Right? It's a different school of thought. Similarly, some philosophers, for example, Patanjali comes into picture. Patanjali thinks, okay, yoga is important, and there is some old school of yoga as well, but from Patanjali, yoga becomes very, very important. Right? So now, yoga is a different school of thought, a different way to get to moksha. And a lot of followers, a lot of people will be following yoga philosophy because they believe that via yoga philosophy they can get moksha. So these are basically different school of thoughts, right? Different maybe scientist or philosopher or scholar. They brought out a new angle, a new perspective, and then they got followers, and that's how we have these 6 schools. Are you getting a point? Right. So let's understand what are these perspectives talk about. Right. So let's try understanding the perspectives. So let's talk about the Sankhya first. Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya philosophy. Now, before I go into this, please understand that the class might sound like some satsang or something, right? Some sage talking about philosophy of life, right? But it is not so. Try understanding the essence. This I'm building up for Buddhism and Jainism, right? We are trying to comprehensively cover everything, be any kind of philosophical discussion or thought process apart from the technical terms, right? So just listen carefully. Try to write whatever I am writing, right? So we are talking about Sankhya philosophy, the first one. Now, Sankhya philosophy. Now, what name suggests? Sankhya. Sankhya technically is a number, right? Sankhya, number. Sankhya philosophy says that in our life or in this whole universe, there is one Prakriti, which is nature, Prakriti, right? Prakriti, natural thing. And then a lot of other things are formed from Prakriti, right? And these are total 23 in number. Right. So the initial philosophy says that from the nature, basically in physics you must have read that everything is made up of matter, right? So it is something like that Prakriti is based on the natural part, primordial part, or the natural, you can say the matter part is based, and other things are formed out of it. There are total 23 things. 23 things formed out of it, plus 124. And then later on, a new element was added, which is Purush. In layman term, Purush is technically soul or Atma, but call it Purush only. Right? So Prakriti and Purush. So Purush and Prakriti. So basically, Sankhya philosophy is trying to break down the whole world into its constituents. It wants to tell you that you can see Prakriti, the natural part of the original core matter like Prakriti, and then there is a lot of intermixing in between. Right? What kind of intermixing? There are some qualities, or it is called as guna. So there are a lot of intermixing. It's like adding some spices and intermixing of guna. There are 3 kinds of qualities. One is Rajoguna, Tamoguna, and Satoguna. Rajoguna is basically activity, something positive, movement. Tamoguna is inactivity, no movement, Tamoguna, and Satoguna is harmony. If you don't understand anything, that is also fine. Just see what's happening. Right? Sometimes you don't understand what's happening in your life. It's okay. Just observe what's happening in your life. Right? Something like that. So this is philosophy, right? So think again. What is happening? Suppose if there is more activity, or you can say lesser inactivity or something, due to mixture of some combination over here, we get to have a new element called as buddhi, intellect. Right? One of the elements is intellect. I'm just talking about important elements. Right? So one element which we have by this intermixing is intellect. Right. Similarly, some bad intermixing happens, and Prakriti will basically intermixing of Prakriti and some intermixing over here. We will have another element. For example, it's ahamkara, ego. Yeah. Similarly, some other combination happened, and we will have one more element, mana. Right. Mana is technically mind, what we want. Like this, we can break ourselves into the matter, right? We can break ourselves into matter, the soul inside, that is Purush, and then buddhi, buddhi, ahamkar, mana, etc. These 3 are important. I know only these 3. Right? Only this much is important. We are studying general studies. Okay, so anyway, so Prakriti with this kind of intermixing of Rajoguna, Tamoguna, Satoguna. Right? Think again. You can think upon yourself. You can think about yourself as you are made up of this matter, right? That is Purush. Prakriti, and then some kind of intermixing will have your mind. You will have your buddhi, right? Intellect. Will have your ahamkar, ego. This is Sankhya philosophy. It is like thinking yourself as you are made up of a lot many things. This is basically nothing but your recipe. Right? This is you. First, I will try digesting this part. I can understand. This is something which most of you, 99% of you, must be listening for the very first time. Yeah. Okay. Now what happens? Problem is that now the question is, sir, where is moksha? We are looking for moksha. The idea was that you will teach us this Sankhya philosophy to tell us, to understand, or to tell us, or basically to make us understand the path towards moksha. Right? Okay. So let's get to that part. So remember that we are actually trapped in the cycle of birth. Right? Or technically, we cannot get moksha. Our path to moksha is blocked. Reason. Because Purush and these 23 elements and Prakriti, right? These 25 elements in altogether, all of our constituents. The problem is that we associate ourselves with some constituent. If you ask who is Abhishek Srivastava, I might say that my ego is Abhishek Srivastava. I might feel like that, right? Or I might say that my mind is Abhishek Srivastava, right? My buddhi or intellect is Abhishek Srivastava. That is the misconception of ourselves. That is ignorance, right? It is ignorance. Because of this ignorance, we actually get trapped. Basically, we get trapped, and we think that these elements are us, right? But that's not the true way, or not the right thing, or the right way to look at ourselves. And because of this ignorance, we are trapped into transmigration of soul. We will be still rotating like this. Or basically, we'll be part of this circle: life, death, something like that. Yeah, this will keep on happening. We will be part of this rebirth. We will not be able to get moksha because we identify ourselves with the constituent. We are not actually able to see that we are not one constituent, but we are made up of all these things. I hope now you got this. Right? Now the point is how this ignorance can be removed. Right? What is the solution? So there is a solution, of course. Yeah. So there is a solution. Solution is you need to go for Gyan Marg. Now what is Gyan Marg? So there are few ways of knowledge. Few things which you need to keep in your mind. For example, you have to think about this. The first way is your pratyaksh, perception. Pratyaksh. That means you need to see, you need to observe what's happening. You need to observe that, nah, this is not me. No, this is also not me. You need to start observing yourself. You need to start observing all your constituents. So first is about pratyaksh. What is before you? You need to see that. Then second thing is inference. Inference. Anuman. Another way of knowledge. Right, these are way of knowledge. This is a way of, you can say, thinking, observing, figuring out what is correct, what is not correct. Right. For example, when you have to make a decision, whenever you are in that situation where you have to make a decision, you think about that. You know what I'm able to see, what is before me, what are proofs are there before me, what are things are there before me. Then you put some anuman in it. Right. Some inference that okay, my friend has gone to that place and he's doing good, so maybe I should also do the same. Something like that. So second thing is inference. Third thing, or the third way of knowledge is hearing. Hearing. Maybe you will ask for expert advice. Right, maybe you hear from people and try to judge or try to understand. Maybe you ask somebody who has knowledge, who will tell you that no, you are not actually ego or aham or something. You are complete with this. See yourself as a distinct 25 whole or 25 number. And once you understand that part, you get moksha. You get free from this whole entanglement, right? And you actually get free. Right, this is how you get moksha. So this is the first philosophy, Sankhya philosophy, which tells you how to get moksha. Yeah, is this based on Gyan Marg? Yes, close to Upanishad, but not exactly Upanishad thought. But still, transmigration of soul and all. So somewhere it is taking cue from Upanishad only. Yeah, somewhere it is like somebody has read Upanishad and he came back to you and told you this new philosophy. So the first philosophy, Sankhya philosophy, is basically, you can say, based upon Upanishads. Right, so yeah, this was the one philosophy, Sankhya philosophy. The founder of Sankhya philosophy is your Kapil. Yeah, a quick chat. Did we understand this part? And those who are facing issue, is everything right now? Is everything fine now? Yeah? Yeah, got it? Everyone clear? Awesome. Amazing. Okay, then we can move forward. Way to moksha is also way to MCQ. Good. That kind of understanding we want, right? Yeah, bit tough, but you don't have to get into depth. Right? You don't have to get into what is Rajagur, how much percentage of Rajagur is required to form Buddhi. No, that kind of knowledge is not required. Just it's like take it on the face value. Basically, what is written, just take it like that. Yeah, only that much. Don't go into depth and all. That is not at all required. Rajagur, Tamagur, Satagur, basically these are three types of, you can say, the ingredients to create these buddhi and all. So suppose buddhi must be made up of, let's say, more positive things. Rajagur is considered as very, very positive thing, activity, something is happening, right? Then Tamagur is a very negative, right? For example, you must have heard this statement in your, maybe from your mother and all. कि ये जो खाना है तामसिक खाना है, तामसिक है, right? है ना, तमस है इसमें. तपस थोड़ा सा मतलब नेगेटिविटी है, खाओगे तो एकदम जो है बैठ जाओगे, फैट हो जाओगे, है ना, जो है इस तरह की बातें. तो तमोगुण कुछ खाना का तमोगुण बढ़ाता है, तामसिक होता है. ये बातें शायद आपने सुनी होगी. Yeah, you might have heard all these things. Yeah, so Rajagur, Tamagur, Satagur. So yeah, so this basically various combination of this creates various other things. Total 25 in number, right? And this is the Sankhya philosophy. You just need to understand, right? You just need to understand that yes. We need to think, like, we need to dissociate. We need to dissociate from this. We don't have to think that maybe buddhi, I'm buddhi, or I'm ahankar or something. When we attach ourselves to a particular unit, right? Then it's problematic. That's the blocker, and then we don't get moksha. Yeah. Okay, so then it's great. You got this, so that means the level of the class is good. Very good, man. Okay, so let's move forward then I can continue. Second one is, so let's move forward. So moksha, we understand moksha different ways and all. So yeah, so yoga se hoga, so we'll continue with this. So currently we are talking about orthodox or astic system. Darshan. So Sankhya we have already seen. Right, Sankhya. Every darshan has a founder and has some basic text. Sankhya Sutra, right? Every system has a basic text or the core text which tells about its philosophy. Yeah, so this you can see whenever you want. Today we are trying to understand the various philosophies first. So the target is the philosophy. So Sankhya Darshan done. Sankhya Darshan we have already seen. Now in Sankhya Darshan, what I want you to do later, once we have studied this topic, I want you to also go through the names of the philosophers. For example, there is Ishwar Krishna, right? Vachaspati Mishra. At least recognize the philosopher. So Ishwar Krishna, he has wrote Sankhya Karika. Similarly, Vachaspati Mishra, he has wrote Tattva Kaumudi. Understood? UPSC these days is asking about scholars. From this chapter, they have already asked, not exactly from this chapter, related to this chapter, they have already asked Nath Muni. Asked us to recognize Nath Muni, whether Nath Muni is from Jainism or Buddhism or something like that. Right? So UPSC is now going into this direction, giving credit to the philosopher and all, credit to the scholars. So just see that which scholar is in which domain, whether he is Buddhist or Jainism or related to Astic philosophy. Okay, so this we have already seen, so yeah. Okay, so let's move ahead. Yoga philosophy. Let's talk about yoga philosophy. Now, yoga. So technically, Sankhya, if you see, in Sankhya philosophy, we were not talking about any god. There is no discussion of God in Sankhya philosophy. Are you getting a point? There was no discussion, right? Like no discussion as such of Sankhya, God in Sankhya philosophy. But if you accept Sankhya philosophy and if you add God to it, it becomes a yoga philosophy. Yoga philosophy says, yeah, whatever Sankhya has said is correct. But first of all, there is God. He has basically yoga has added one more concept, one more element over here, that there is some divine power, there is some existence of theistic or basically God, and they believe in the chanting of Om. Om is very, very important for them. Right, then what is the difference? This difference is not good enough for us. Right, what is the difference? What do you want to know about yoga? So Sankhya. So yoga philosophy says that yes, you are correct. There are multiple elements. We think that we are this element on this element on this element. Right, we need to dissociate. Yeah, you're right. We need to dissociate. We need to go on the Gyan Marg. True. Correct. But how? How? The question is how. So yoga, puts this question forward. How will you do this? How? So now that's a very confusing question. We are actually studying philosophy for the very first time. How to answer this? Right, yoga philosophy. So yoga philosophy accepts Sankhya philosophy. It just adds, that we believe in God as well. You might not talk about God, but we believe in God. We believe in Om and all. We believe in that divine power. Right, but also we understand that we need to walk on this Gyan Marg. Agreed. Knowledge is required. Yes, agreed. What kind of knowledge? Yeah, perception, inference, hearing. Yeah, all agreed. Right, perception, inference, hearing. Everything is fine. But my question is, are you ready for this kind of knowledge? Can you understand this kind of knowledge? Right now we are like normal human being. It's tough to comment. Are we ready? Right. So your philosophy says no, you are not ready yet. I will tell you the process. Process to make you ready. What is the process? Process to make you ready. Process is yoga se hoga. You need to do asana, you need to do pranayam, you need to meditate. And when you do this, then your mind is like, wow, now I can accept, I can actually, I'm free enough to actually go through all this perception, hearing, and inference, and etc. And now I can walk upon the Gyan Marg, now I can reach moksha. That's it. The only addition yoga did was one thing, they added God, that okay, we believe in God, it's not like God cannot be there, so God has to be there in yoga. One thing. Second thing is, it talks about the process. It talks about, and yes, I agree with whatever you have said in Sankhya. I agree that we associate ourselves with man, philosopher, man, buddhi, ahankar, etc. But how to walk on Gyan Marg, how to make yourself able to receive that kind of knowledge, or receive that kind of, you can say, observation, or do that kind of observation. For that, you need to do some exercises, you need to do something, and that is technically yoga, asana, pranayam, meditation, and then you can observe everything and walk on the Gyan Marg and get moksha. Very, very simple, very straightforward. This is yoga, right? I hope you got this. Now, next, so yoga. So basically, we're talking about yoga. Max Muller says that remember Max Muller, right? We're talking about Max Muller in the origin of our realms, from where they came to India, right? So same Max Muller says that difference between Sankhya and yoga is that one has God, another one do not have God. Okay. So yeah, so we have discussed all this. One name to remember: Bhoj. Bhoj wrote Bhojamati. Other than that, important name is Patanjali. Where is Patanjali? Yes, Patanjali wrote Yoga Sutra. Yeah. Okay. So this was yoga. Now there are a few kinds of yoga mentioned over here. This is your homework, right? Many of you already know this. Great, but please give this a reading. So we are done with Sankhya. We are done with yoga philosophy. Now, third philosophy is the Nyaya philosophy. Nyaya philosophy. Yoga simple, right? Yeah. So let's talk about Nyaya philosophy. Nyaya philosophy. Very simple. Propounder is Akshapada Gautam. He is a propounder, main person. Right? Main person is Akshapada Gautam. And there are Nyaya Sutras written by him. Okay. Now, Nyaya is about logic. Logic. Right? Now, what is logic? Nyaya technically says that if you have to reach moksha, then you need to go upon Gyan Marg. Simple, you know this. Then what all kind of Gyan we have? Gyan can be like perception, inference, hearing. Same perception. Right? Perception. Same three. Perception, inference, hearing. Same. And adding one more, which is Upamana. Upamana is technically what? Comparison. But here, whenever you are actually using any of this medium, you have to use logic. Right? You have to use logic. Now it sounds very weird because we have not thought about this. But yeah, so now this system actually relies upon the system of logic. So suppose this is a philosopher Aristotle in Europe, right? So Aristotelian logic is similar to his way of dealing things. So how you can get knowledge, or how you can reach to a decision, or basically the true thing or the right thing via logic, via comparing things, via hearing, etc. So I'll give you one example. So Aristotle basically was the person from whom everybody wanted to stay away. Nobody wanted to talk to Aristotle because his ideas or his thoughts of the way of discussion was very, very weird, right? And that was based on logic. So one fine evening, Aristotle and one of his student was going around in the city, and then they found one of the farmers. So Aristotle called him that, my dear farmer, please come here, right? Then he asked him, do you believe in God? He said, yes sir, of course I believe in God. Okay. Then he said, okay, do you are there multiple gods? He said, yes, of course there are multiple gods. There are so many gods. Then he said, do you think a god can ever be wrong? Is it possible? Can God be wrong? He said, no sir, obviously God can never be wrong. Right? So now it sounds like he's right, God can never be wrong, he's God. Right? So it sounds like that. But then he said, listen to the next question. Then he said that have you heard that the gods fight amongst themselves? There are wars amongst the gods. He said, yes sir, there are multiple stories, multiple legends where we know that gods were fighting amongst themselves. Right? So then Aristotle said, do you think now that one of the god or one of the side must be right and the other side must be wrong? Right? Then that farmer got confused. He said, I'm going home and I'm not talking to you. So yeah, so what he was trying to prove, that God can be wrong. Right? He started from the point that yes, God cannot be wrong. It sounds like that. But logically, if you come to this conclusion, if you logically have this discussion, you realize that yes, God can be wrong. So Nyaya or logic technically talks about all these things. Logic is about that logically whether this can happen or not. You have to use all these agencies: perception, inference, hearing. You need to compare, like they were comparing the war situation, right? Whether in one situation somebody, if it is right, somebody in the same situation another person will be wrong. Right? So comparison should be used, hearing should be used, but you always have to apply logic. Right? Logically, can it be correct or not? And if you apply logic, gradually, and of course, this is not one day game. If you apply logic via these mediums, one fine day, you will surely reach moksha. So this process is basically based upon logic, right? This is Nyaya. Understood? Yeah, simple, very simple, right? So, for example, somebody asks, I had this discussion multiple times, right? Proof of God. What is the proof of God? How do you know that there is God? So now in that discussion, in that debate, multiple times what I have observed, what arguments I got in return, that why they believe that there is God? Because there must be some power who is driving everything. Right? There must be some power who is actually ensuring that there are forces, there is sun, there is moon, something like that. There must be some power who has designed all this. All this is happening because of some divine power or something. So there must be God, because there is so much motion and there is so much, you can say, order in chaos. So there must be somebody who is actually ensuring this order in chaos, and that way there must be some God. Right? So again, let's get back. So now, logically we need to understand, logically we need to question and arrive at the conclusion. This is moksha. This is moksha for me, right? Something like that. For you, UPSC is moksha. Okay, so logically, how you reach there? Via these four ways. Yeah. So again, during Buddhism, during the time of Buddhism, Nyanikas, the school of the followers of Nyaya school, they will be called as Nyanikas. Right? So during the time of Buddhism, Nyanikas will be the one who will actually try to prove that no, there is God. Let's talk about God. right? Because Buddhism is God agnostic. In Buddhism, Buddha is not talking about God. Buddha is ignoring God. Buddha is like, if he's there, good. If he's not there, then we don't care. God also maybe is not caring about us, right? See, sun will come out and give you rays every day, irrespective of whether you worship sun or not. You're getting over it. So for sun, sun is not dependent upon you, right? He's agnostic to you. So whether you worship sun or not, sun will do his duty. Similarly, Buddha also believes in the same thing. Buddha believes in that if we want nirvana, we should get nirvana irrespective of what is God, where is God or something. If he's there, great. But we have to get nirvana, and nirvana is agnostic to God. Something like that. We discuss Buddhism in detail. Don't worry. But anyway, so yeah. So Nayanikas were explaining that, dude, there is God, right, in the time of Buddhism. So yeah, so this is Nyaya again. So Nyaya, system of logic and all. Again, few scholars, important scholars. So Vatsyayan is important scholar. Udhotkar, Jayant Bhatt, and Udayanacharya. Right, maybe you can make a mind map. That's it. Let it go. You need not understand or basically read the whole paragraph and everything. So this was the third one. Let's talk about fourth one. So now we have finished Nyaya. Let's talk about Vaisheshika. Vaisheshika. So Sankhya is those Purush, sorry, Prakriti, 23 elements and Purush, right? And we need to understand that we are not these elements. Yoga was saying yes, you are right, but yes, yoga, yoga se hoga. Nyaya was about logic, and Vaisheshika is about science. Let's talk about Vaisheshika. 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 So Vaisheshika, the sage, the founder, the propounder is Ulluva Kannada. Yeah. Vaisheshika. The core philosopher here is Ulluva. And you must have heard his name in your chemistry class. Ulluva Kannada, called as atom eater, right? Ulluva Kannada. Somebody who gave the atomic theory. First ever atomic theory of the world is by Ulluva Kannada. Right, let's try understanding what he wants to say. So here he talks about, Ulluva Kannada is basically talking about atomic pluralism. Atomic pluralism. Yeah, atomic pluralism. As per the atomic pluralism, whole universe is made up of atoms. Oh wow. Back to science. Yeah, so whole universe is made up of atoms, and there are forces holding these atoms together. Or we can say there is Brahma. Not Brahman, Brahma. Right, there is Brahman, that power, that eternal power. Right, that is your Brahma, that force which is holding everything together. So the whole world can be considered as tiny atoms, right? And the forces. So only two things exist. One is that matter or atom. Another thing is the forces, Brahma. Right, you can write it like this: atom plus Brahma. Brahman is what is considered as forces. So this philosophy is more about science. The previous philosophy was more about logic. Right, Nyaya was about logic, and Vaisheshika is about science. It's about atomic pluralism. Right. Okay. So now the Brahman is technically the whole force, or the fundamental force, which is holding us together. Now, as this is the scientific theory, then it also talks about that this atom technically, it talks about those Panchabhut. So earth, fire, then water, earth, fire, water, air, and ether. Ether is technically space. Yeah. So atom can belong to any of these categories. So you must have heard like this, right? We are made up of this, or the whole world consists of all this only: earth, fire, water, air, ether. Those who have seen Shaktiman might have seen his vow, and he was taking that vow, by Panchabhut, I take this vow. So earth, fire, water, air, and ether. Right? So this is very technical, this is very scientific, and it is very logical. Not let's not call logical. It's very scientific, and this is the same thing you have read in your schools, right? And in chemistry you have read that the whole world can be actually reduced to subatomic or basically atomic particles, or basically can be reduced to atoms, very very small, indivisible. Right? This same thing, atom. And then there are forces, the fundamental forces which is holding everything. Atoms can belong to maybe earth, fire, water, air, and ether. Yeah. Similarly, it also talks about realities, right? There are some 9 types of realities. Right, so 5 types already there. Other than that, again since it is scientific, so you'll find again technical terms. For example, there is direction. So it talks about direction as well. It's called as dik. Then it talks about time. Right, so direction, time. Then it talks about atma. There are a lot of atma as well. Right, living jivatmas. And then lastly, it also talks about mind, manas. So these are your 9 types of realities as per Vaisheshika. It's okay if you don't get this today. Right, these are 9 types of realities stated by Vaisheshika, where the atoms belong to this stage. Also ether, there cannot be any atom in ether. Right, ether is like space, there are no atoms in ether. So you can say technically only 4 are atoms. Right, atom can belong to earth, atom can belong to fire, atom can belong to water, atom can belong to air. And then there is ether. Ether, there is no atom. Right, other technical terms or scientific terms which we need to solve the whole equation. We need direction, we need time, we need atma, there are other forces. Right, and then we need mind or manas. Right, why mind or manas? Because it is philosophy. Yeah, so and if we apply all this via Gyan Marg. This is Gyan, right? If we start thinking about the whole process in a scientific fashion, in a technical fashion, that what am I, who am I am just made up of atoms, right? 5 types of atoms. Where am I going in this direction? What is the time? This is the time. Okay, again very technical, fuzzy, but yeah. So fuzzy in the sense in our ignorant discussion, right? We are not that enlightened space where we can actually assimilate this one, right? So yeah, so just try to understand this technically. What things are there? Okay, so yeah, so what we can observe over here, that we are made up of these atoms and the forces and all. And if we put Gyan Marg, 2 marks over here, only 2 marks given. One is pratyaksh, and another one is what? Inference. Pratyaksh is technically perception. So perception and inference. Only 2 marks. Perception, inference is Anuman. Yeah, and then you can reach moksha. So this is, maybe you can call it as a very mechanical way of looking at things, where we are talking about that yes, there are forces which hold us up, and basically there are a lot of atoms. We are all made up of atoms. This is the theory in Vaisheshika, main propounder Ulluva Kannada. Right, so we were talking about Vaisheshika, atomic pluralism. We were talking about all these 9 realities. Right, so this part, this we are done. Vaisheshika. Okay, again, Pastapad. Pastapad basically wrote this Padarth Dharma Granth. Again, important scholar. And Shankaracharya called it as Ardha-Vainashik. Two more, Udaya and Sridhar. Right, so maybe in the same mind map which we are making here, maybe you can also add these scholars over here. Right, or you can use these maps which we have given to you, right, like this one, and you can add, so Vaisheshika, Ulukittanad, Uluk-Sutra, atomic pluralism, atom, Brahma, right, all the 5 things, five substances, the 9 realities, all the 9 realities. Right, maybe you can write your scholars here itself. Right, so that's how you'll be able to revise in a much better fashion. Okay, so now we are done with Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika. Nyaya is technically logical, right? Vaisheshika is based upon science. Looking at the whole life, looking at us in a very, very scientific fashion. Right, so before we are done, a quick chat. Align till this point. That is what, please confirm. Look ahead of the time. Yes. See, this is something which shows us that how scientific we were. Right, even in our philosophy, we are very much, we are relying on science, we are relying on logic, right? So definitely, we were much ahead, and that is the reason we were able to go this much deep in medicine, in astronomy and all. So we were very much advanced when it comes to science, right? And especially we were very much advanced when it comes to mathematics. So two subjects, mathematics and astronomy. Two subjects are like our favorite subject, best subject, right? Because we had so much development in this. At this point, we are talking about atoms and all. Right? This is something surprising, right? So we are definitely much ahead of the others, right? Okay, so let's go ahead. Yeah, so whether you want to leave it or you don't want to leave it, you can take that decision later. Right? Just go through this whole chapter. This whole chapter sounds tough, right? It sounds tough, but it is actually not. Right? The question which they have asked from philosophy, in prelims especially, the question asked till this point, one question was about recognize if this is Indian philosophy. Just names given, that's it. That was the only question they have asked till this point. Second, they had asked about scholars. The question was about Jainism, Buddhism, but they mixed some scholars from Indian philosophy, basically the Aztec philosophy. So these two types of questions are asked till this point. Right? Other than that, Indian philosophy, its impact on the architecture, etc., all those things are asked. Yeah. Okay. So again, let's get back. It's a very small topic. It's just that it's a bit technical, so we are taking some time. Now the second last philosophy is Mimamsa. Mimamsa philosophy. Now this one is very, 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 very simple. Mimamsa, very simple. Mimamsa philosophy. Yeah. Again, let's focus. 2 more to go. Okay, Mimamsa. Now, Mimamsa. So we are done with logic. We are done with science. So the time has come to actually focus on reasoning. So Mimamsa is about reasoning and interpretation. Now, this philosophy, obviously, the main director over here is Jamini. Right? Okay. So now, Mimamsa says that, okay, you have read many types of philosophy. Many types. Even include others. For example, Buddhism. Now listen very careful. Now it says that yes, you all are correct. Very good, congratulations. Or you all are correct, right? We felt very happy that okay, everything is correct, what we have learned. Then it says that okay, now repeat with me. Think about what you are saying. You wanted to, especially Buddhism, you wanted to say that you have a desire. Right? You have a desire to not to have any desire. This is technically for Buddhism, right? Buddhism says, okay, in your life you need to get rid of all the desire, right? You need to be free from all the desire, and then only you can get nirvana, right? So now the question is, Mimamsa says, okay, think about this, what you're saying. Repeat with me. You have desire to not to have any desire, and you have the desire, right? This is kind of a loop, right? It is like impossible. You are saying that if you become free from all kind of desire, you will reach moksha. But as soon as you are getting free from the desire, you realize that you still have a desire. Desire to not to have any desire. Now this is like impossible. It is not at all possible. Right? Good reasoning, right? It is not at all possible to reach moksha because it is actually impossible to break this spell. Now I have desire to not to have any desire, but I still have desire. Oh, it is impossible. So now they all felt like, oh, what is the solution now? Right? So now this is the interesting part. So Mimamsa said that if there is a solution, do not worry. There is a proper solution to it. You can still reach moksha. By doing ritual. By doing what? Ritual sacrifices. So we are back to square one. Right, in Mimamsa, I'm not saying everything back to square one. I'm saying this philosophy is basically back to where we started. This philosophy is actually propounding, actually proposing karma marga. It is supporting that yes, it is possible to get moksha if you do rituals and sacrifices. It started explaining why to do rituals and sacrifices. Yeah. So because of Mimamsa, I can write it here. So because of Mimamsa, we are back at the place where we are talking about faith in Vedas. We are back to the point where we are talking about, there is heaven, and heaven will be there till you have good deeds. Right? If you do good things, you will go to heaven. But it will be for a very, very short time. By the time your good deeds last, suppose you have done good work, which allows you to stay at heaven for 1 year. But then it's over. Now it's time to come back. Right? So your heaven can be there, but for a very, very limited time. Right? And you can get salvation. By moksha. You can get moksha by Vedic rituals. Now tell me, think about this. If Vedas, or basically the initial thought is back in game, if this initial thought is back in game, can we all understand that the importance of priest will increase? Can we all understand that the Varna system, the importance of Varna system will also be increased? right? So once Buddhism goes on back foot, right? Once Buddhism is out of the picture, the importance of priest and the importance of Trivarna is also back in the picture. And this what we have this we have observed. So Mimamsa philosophy, though the significance is very less, but around 300 AD or 300 CE in Gupta era, we will observe rise of Brahmanism, and this rise is supported by Mimamsa philosophy. So though it is not well cherished or very much cherished philosophy or not very successful philosophy, right? But it definitely has a lot of significance where it supported the Brahmanism again. Now the point you will ask, you might be thinking, sir, why you think or why you're saying that Brahmanism was at its low somewhere here, right? What's the reason behind it? Why it was not flourishing? So this is 300 CE. We have not reached this point till now. So don't worry about that. Right? We'll come to Gupta era. We'll be discussing this whole graph, how the Brahmanism is rising and why. At the same time, we will also observe that Buddhism is declining or at least stagnant. So Mimamsa has its you can say a contribution, right? It has a lot of contribution where it has pushed the Brahmanical philosophy or the Brahmanism back into the picture. Right? Otherwise Buddhism was dominating. Till this point, Buddhism was, you can say, well cherished. It was very much supported by the kings and all. Right? So yeah, so Brahmanism is back in picture because of the support given by Mimamsa philosophy. Yeah. So this philosophy we are done with Mimamsa as well. Let's come to our last discussion. Yeah. So we're discussing Mimamsa. So Vedic rituals is back. Now few scholars like Kumaril Bhatt, again I'm saying these are important. Kumaril Bhatt, Mandan Mishra. Right? Mandan Mishra, he has written Vidhi Vivek, Bhavna Vivek. Right? So these two scholars are important. Kumaril Bhatt and Mandan Mishra. Now again, so we have seen that there were Vedas and Brahmanas who were supporting your karma, right? And now we have Mimamsa philosophy, taking roots from here. Mimamsa, right? But if you remember, after this there were Aranyakas, but I'm not writing Aranyakas. After this there were Aranyakas and then Upanishad, right? There were Upanishads. Why? Because there was so much focus on the karma. So there was a demand for some other type of philosophy. And then we had what? Then we had this Gyan Marg coming into picture, a new concept. Now again, once we are observing that by Gupta period we are observing that Mimamsa philosophy is back in game, or Mimamsa philosophy supporting Brahmanism. Again, one system. Again your ritual sacrifices, Vedic thought. That is more prevalent over here. So again we will have dominance of a new thought, which is Vedanta. The last philosophy, Vedanta. So Vedanta. So as the name itself suggests that it is coming from Vedanta. So we will have a new philosophy coming in picture, Vedanta. Why? Because time is demanding so. Right? Now the time wants that, whenever there will be a lot of focus on karma, whenever there will be a lot of focus on rituals and all, then there must be a counter philosophy coming in, which should say, we should not focus enough, or we should not focus that much on karma or rituals or sacrifices, but we should focus on Gyan Marg, knowledge. So again, the another philosophy, the last philosophy, Vedanta, it is again based upon Upanishad. It is based upon even Bhagavad Gita. Right? So Vedanta will come into picture. So the last philosophy, Vedanta. So Vedanta is also called as Uttar Mimamsa, means later Mimamsa. Right? Uttar Mimamsa makes sense as well because Mimamsa and later Mimamsa. So let's talk about Vedanta. Last philosophy, Vedanta. Vedanta is basically, the main scholar over here is Madrayana, and he has written Brahma Sutra. Right? Now Vedanta relies upon, or we can write it here. Vedanta relies upon Upanishads plus Brahma Sutras plus your Bhagavad Gita. Right? Upanishad, Brahma Sutras and Bhagavad Gita. These three books together are called as Prasthanatrayi. Prasthanatrayi. Right? Prasthanatrayi. So basically these three books, and two which you need to understand. Upanishad, anyway, we were actually expecting, right? Yeah, Upanishad. It has to be based upon Upanishad. Anyway, the name is Vedanta, right? End of Vedas, that is Upanishad. So Vedanta means Upanishad has to be there. But other than that, we have even Bhagavad Gita. Right? Okay. So these books basically provide you with the Brahma Gyan, the knowledge required. Brahma Gyan to observe what? Right? These two are required to understand that the reality is Brahma. Brahma is reality. Now you must have forgot this, so let's get back to our Upanishadic discussion. So yesterday we were talking about Upanishads. Upanishad gave us what? Upanishad gave us that there is the divine power Brahma who has created earth, right? Where we have Purush, where we have Prakriti, right? Where we have Prakriti, right? And where we have Purush. Same thing, but will help me write better. So the whole universe, yesterday we were discussing the same thing, right? The whole universe is made up of Prakriti and Purush, the matter and the soul. Right? And Prakriti is what? Prakriti is like matter. Purush is what? Purush is soul, Atma. Right? And if you remember, we were discussing Aham Brahmasmi, Atma. We were having this discussion that whether Brahma is universe or they are two separate entities. Now this debate will arise. From here the debate will arise. Yeah, so coming back. So in this thought, in Vedantic thought, it is believed that Brahma is reality. Right? Brahma is reality. And everything else is what? Illusion. Everything else is illusion. Right? And real. And technically, self or soul or Atma is equal to Brahma. Brahma. So our Atma is equal to Brahma, right? And that means this means that knowledge of Atma is equals to knowledge of Brahma. This is Vedantic thought. Vedantic thought again is about Gyan Marg. It is again about that if you understand yourself, if you understand your Atma, you can understand Brahma. So since the ritual came back into the picture, the next step which we had in philosophy, and this is by design, right? This is by design. It's not like somebody is deliberately doing this. Whenever society will be pushed to have, pushed to go for rituals, so many rituals, some counter thought will come and push back and say, no, we don't want to go for these many rituals. We also believe, or we also should go for basic things, simple things, right? We need to think, we need to put Gyan into it. We cannot just blindly go for rituals. So last time also in your later Vedic era, we saw that earlier the focus was on Brahmanas and Vedas, but later on Upanishads came into picture, which basically supported, or basically which came with the Gyan Marg. Similarly, when Mimamsa came into picture, along with it, the another philosophy which was dormant till now, another philosophy like the Vedanta philosophy will flourish. Vedanta philosophy again came back with the Gyan Marg, again talking about Brahma, again talking about Atma is equals to Brahma. Now you say, sir, this is exactly what Upanishad says. Exactly, this is Upanishad, right? Vedanta with some more addition, with more interpretation. So now in this era. Okay. So if we have this knowledge of Atma, then we have knowledge of Brahma, and this is only what? This is salvation, moksha. If we understand Brahma, then we can have moksha. Now additional things which we need to understand here, that both Brahma and Atma are indestructible. Brahma, Atma, they cannot be destroyed. Indestructible. Right? And also it also talks about theory of karma. Theory of karma. Now what does theory of karma mean? This theory of karma means that our basically the future depends upon our deeds, or basically even not from this world, also from the previous world. If we did something bad in our previous world, then we will have to suffer that in this particular world. So our karma will decide our fate. Our karma will decide what all things we will experience, what all things we will suffer. So that theory of karma is basically part of Vedanta, right? And of course, this is Vedanta. So you can also write, yes, they believe in rebirth, no doubt about that. Rebirth is common, rebirth is basic, right? Even if you don't write, then you can say that yes, they believe in rebirth. Now from Vedanta, various thought came into discussion. Right? Yesterday we were having this discussion that whether Brahma or this universe is same, and if they are same, they are Advait. This theory, this new school, a school which believes that both are same will be called as Advait. A school which believes that both are different will be called as Dvait. Right? Similarly, there will be some Vishishta Advait, there will be Bheda, and so many other schools coming out of Vedanta. So Vedanta will have multiple such schools. See, Advait by Nimbarka in 1130, right? Right now we are very far from Nimbarka, right? So later on in medieval era, we have Advait, we have Ramanuj, right? Ramanuj propounding Vishishta Advait, then Shuddha Advait by Vallabhacharya, then Shankaracharya proposing your Advait, and Madhavacharya proposing Dvaita, right? This new, you can say, thought process, or the whole, various schools will come out in your medieval era, right? And this we study with the Bhakti movement. So let's get back. So till now we understood, we studied Sankhya, right? Sankhya was simply numbers, right? We were trying to associate ourselves with a particular entity. And that was wrong. And if we come out of that, we'll get moksha. Right? Similarly, yoga, this is all correct. But how to do that? How to create that state of mind? Asana and pranayama. Right? Similarly, Nyaya was about logic. Vaisheshika was about science. Right? Similarly, Mimamsa said, how to come out of desire, how to not to have the desire. Right? So Mimamsa was about reasoning. And Vedanta is back to Upanishadic thought, back to Brahma and Atma. So we have finished the Indian philosophy system, the orthodox philosophy system. From here, a new thought arises, a new system arises. Right? If you are all aligned to this till now, please confirm. Just a second. Okay, so okay, now better. Okay, so much better now. Now, let's get back. Sorry. So three things, right? One thing you're asking is what type of question asked on this topic in mains. Mains, they will ask about Indian philosophy. They have not asked specifically Sankhya Yoga and all, right? But they have asked this in prelims, right? So there is a possibility. There is a possibility that going forward they can ask about Indian philosophy as well. Right? Why unorthodox sect philosophy disappeared from India except the same part of Gangetic plains? Let's wait for that. Right? We have not discovered the disappearing part yet. So let's get back to the disappearing. How the whole thing you can say grows and everything. Right? So yeah. Today lecture is easy compared to yesterday. Oh, that's good to know, man. Okay, so where can we find your mind maps? Okay, so each today till morning. Okay. So yeah, so let's get back. Yeah. Okay. So now, so what we are realizing. Yeah. Okay. So this six deductions, these six philosophies were basically based upon. Yeah. Guys, chat on है ना जब मैं थोड़ी देर के लिए chat on छोड़ रहा हूँ while we are discussing this part and getting back to the new discussion. So so what we are realizing that these six schools were developed out of these Vedic literature only, right? Some relied upon Brahmanas, but basically your Mimamsa relied on Brahmanas, but otherwise the reliance was more on Upanishad. Now you understand that part, right? That the reliance was more on Upanishad. But in the same zone, in the same era, roughly around 600 BC, roughly around 600 BC, or you can say, let's not get confused. We keep our number at 500 BC only. So towards the end, right? Towards the end, this point, we are realizing that there was a lot of resistance, a lot of opposition, a lot of resistance slash opposition to the Vedic philosophy, to Ved Brahmanas, or technically you can say that to the emphasis on rituals. Are you getting the point? Right? People were not liking it. Okay, let's focus over here. Yeah. Okay. So technically, the society was not aligned to this thought process. Society was not aligned to this, emphasis or importance of rituals, and this is the way towards moksha, right? And especially there was animal sacrifices involved in it, along with the other sacrifices. And yes, this was being questioned, and that is the reason that initially we had Aranyakas, mild opposition, Aranyakas, and then we had Upanishads, right? And from here we have those six schools, right? We had those six schools, but yeah, also these six schools are Astic, orthodox. But don't you think that there will be more philosophies coming out in this zone, in this era, who will not rely upon this philosophy, who will be basically entirely new thought process, challenging this whole new idea, challenging this whole idea that no, we will not take our source, or we basically will not rely upon Veda or Brahmanas or Upanishad, but we will have a counter thought. They will be called as, because they are not sourcing from, or they are not based on this knowledge and these books. So these counter thoughts will be called as heterodox sects. They will be called as Gnostic philosophy. Gnostic philosophy. Now, Gnostic technically, sounds like they don't believe in God. Somebody who does not believe in God is called as Gnostic. But here, that is not true. It is basically, meaning, the connotation over here is only about that it is not based upon this knowledge. Whether it believes in God or not, that is irrelevant, agnostic. Right? We are not talking about whether they believe in God or not. We are only talking about what we mainly mean over here, that these thoughts, these philosophies are not sourced from this knowledge. So what will actually happen? A lot of philosophers, a lot of Rishi Muni, a lot of princes will actually come out countering this, and they will come out with a lot of such texts, these heterodox texts. There will be like some 300 plus texts. 300 plus new religion, let's not say religion, new philosophy of how to get moksha. And they will also name moksha differently. Somebody will call it nirvana, somebody will call it kaivalya. Right? It's more or less same, but the final destination, somebody calls it moksha. Till now we were mostly dependent on, we were mostly calling it moksha. But now these scholars, these shaman traditions, we'll call it shaman. These scholars, right? For example, let's say these 300, more than 300 scholars, they'll be called as shaman. Shaman means somebody who does shram, somebody who works very hard to find truth. Right? So to counter this, what we are having, now we have more than 300 new thoughts which are called as shaman traditions. Why shaman? Because they are working very, very hard and they are hustling to find truth. Yeah. Out of these 300, a lot of them will be lost. But the most popular among them will be Buddhism, then Jainism, then Ajivika, and another one is Charmak. So we will be talking about these four. Right. I've added 4 more for your reference, but we'll be only talking about these 4. Buddhism, Jainism, UPSC is crazy about Buddhism, Jainism, but yes, we have a discussion of Ajivika and Charmak as well. Right, I hope you got this point. Why? Right, first thing is why. Right, I'll go deep in Buddhism, why Buddhism came into picture, and why it is at number 1. That is also important, but later. Right now we understood why heterodox sect came into picture. Because we wanted a new philosophy different from all this. These 6 schools are based upon all this, but now the heterodox sect we are talking about, they are the new thoughts, new philosophies coming in. A lot of sect has gone, researched a lot, thought a lot, right, meditated a lot, and then came back with so many new ideas, out of which only few are popular. Today we only know about Jainism, Buddhism, and all. Yeah, so now let's get back to our discussion. Heterodox sect. We'll start with Charmak. Yeah, Charmak says kal ho na ho. Right, kal ho na ho. Maybe tomorrow, there is, or maybe there is no tomorrow. Right, if there is no tomorrow, what to do now? If there is no tomorrow, then you need to enjoy today. Are you getting a point? So Charmak, CRK is about kal ho na ho. Might be there is no tomorrow. So we were discussing this part. That till this point we have discussed the orthodox system, Sankhya Yoga, etc. Now we are going into unorthodox system. We are going into shamanic tradition, shamanic schools. Right, we start with Charmak. Sorry. Now Charmak. So Charmak, technically, author over here is, your founder is Charvaka, and author is Brahaspatya Sutra. Right, Brahaspatya Sutra. This is also called as Lokayata. Right, Charmak. So it is also called as Lokayat. Lok means people. Right, what people want, or what people think, or the philosophy of the people. Lokayat. Now, what they believe, or basically what Charmak wants to tell you, Charmak believes in intimate contact with the world. Right, have you heard this line that everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die? Right? Why? If you know that if you die and you will go to heaven, are you ready to die today? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, just kidding. The point is, nobody has seen heaven. Right? Are you really sure that there is heaven? Yeah. Right. So the point is, as per Lokayat says, basically the Charvak philosophy, this philosophy says that we don't believe in afterworld. Afterward. That if we do something bad, our next birth will be bad. We'll have to suffer in our next birth. Who has seen next birth? I don't remember what happened in next birth. I'm talking about this, not me, right? Yeah. So yeah, afterward. So basically, they're saying that we don't believe in afterworld. We don't believe in karma. We don't believe in liberation. So technically, we don't want moksha. Why do we want moksha? But you will say, sir, wait. Why will they not want moksha? Why are they not aware that the meaning of life or the purpose of life includes moksha, includes dharma, includes your artha and kama? Oh wait. They don't believe in Vedic philosophy, right? So since they do not believe in Vedic philosophy, they also do not believe that this is our goal. So it is not necessary to have this goal if you don't believe in Vedic philosophy. That makes sense? Yeah. So they don't have this goal. So they don't believe in liberation. Yeah, they don't believe in liberation. They are basically not in the pursuit of moksha. They are not searching for it. They are not looking for it. Then also, then of course we understand they don't believe in Veda. And also I don't think that need to be written. Afterward, no karma, no liberation, no Vedas, no. Right? What about Atma is immortal, indestructible, immortal? No, we don't believe this. Right? We really believe this. Right? As Lokai says, no, we don't believe this. Right? We don't believe that whether Atma is immortal or not. We don't want to test as well whether it is immortal. Right? There is no testing involved with life. Right? Okay. So also out of the 5 elements. So their thought is we only believe what we can see. Only way of knowledge, right? There is no random key inference of man. No, nothing. Only way of knowledge you have is direct perception. Nothing else, right? Direct perception, right? Direct perception. That's the only way you need to gain knowledge. Yeah. Okay. So basically, they believe that you have to rely upon intimate contact with the world. Now they believe that you have one life. Right, and you must have heard this sign, one life live king size. Yeah, so this is that philosophy, one life live king size. Right, basically they say that you don't know whether you will be, you can say whether you will be there in the next birth or not. Right, whether you should be worried about moksha and all. Maybe you should actually not worry about all those things which you have never seen, never thought, right, never observed, never experienced. Instead of thinking about all those stuff, think about what you have in your life. Very deep, huh? It's okay. So it says that, for example, it says that suppose you have money, right, but you will not enjoy your money, you will not enjoy your life. Reason, you think that no, I have to go for some meditation, I have to go for some, you can say, Gyan Marg, and then only I'll get moksha. No, instead maybe you should spend time with your family. You have hardly any time left. Maybe you should spend with family instead of going for that, Gyan Marg. Are you getting my point? Maybe you should enjoy whatever you have rather than saving and thinking, next what I'll see. Maybe this will help me in my bank account. Right. So now it's very, you can say this thought is supportive of materialistic view of life. Materialistic view of life. By the way, don't assume that I'm supporting this view. We are just discussing the way it is. So materialistic view of life. So it says that it's okay to be materialistic. It's okay to accumulate wealth. It's okay to have wealth. It's okay to enjoy wealth. Right, and enjoy your life. And it is always misquoted, like people who criticize Charak, they say that Charak says that if you have to eat ghee or butter, right, if you have to eat butter and you don't have butter, what to do now? Right, then take loan and eat butter. Eating butter is very important. This is said by those who criticize Charak, that Charak says that eat butter any way you want. Right, whether you have to you have to take loan for eating butter, but eating butter or ghee is important. Go for it. Right, so this is how people criticize Charak, but this is not what Charak meant. Charak meant only what Charak wanted to say was that do not hesitate from indulging in some kind of, or basically indulging in some sort of limited luxury. Right, of course if you can afford it, but yeah. So that's what they wanted to say, that do go for it. You have only one life. If you work upon, or basically you believe in the whatever you are seeing, whatever you are observing, whatever you are experiencing, do not go for something which you have never ever seen. Right, and do not get worried about it. I hope you got this point. So it's okay to be materialistic. It's okay to have wealth. It's okay to accumulate wealth. Now this kind of view is technically important. Why is this important? This materialistic view is important. Sometimes this materialistic view is important. Materialistic view is important if you want to have urbanization and if you want to have trade. So in states and basically trade, materialistic view supports a lot. Again, suppose you become a person who is non-materialistic. You are not at all materialistic. Material things, basically things do not give you pleasure. Now if I say that do you want iPhone, you will say no, I don't want iPhone. Why? Because I already have my Nokia, I already have my Redmi, and I'm very happy with my phone. Only purpose of the phone is calling. I can call. If you start behaving in this direction, what will happen to iPhone? Right, iPhone wants, the business of iPhone will grow when materialistic people will believe that they need iPhone. They need that phone to have that status or something. So that materialism is important for business. Right, a lot of things you consume, or basically you buy, just which you actually do not need. Since you have gone out and you are buying, you accumulate stuff. Good for business, good for Amazon. Right, a lot of people keep on buying on Myntra or Amazon and all, and sometimes they don't need it. Right, and they don't know it. It just comes and get accumulated in your wardrobe. Right, so materialistic view is actually important for the organization, for the trade. Now again, let's come back to that timeline. Where is that timeline? Okay, I'll make that again. So if you remember correctly, 500 BC. Do you remember this term Mahajanpadas? Mahajanpadas, state, right, trade. Do you understand that this era needs some kind of materialistic thought? This can also be called as rise of materialism. Because if there is no materialism, why do you need a palace? You can stay in a hut, right? But you need palace because you are accumulating wealth, right? You like to have more luxury life, and it is good. This materialistic thought is good to have this kind of atmosphere, to have this kind of, you can say, urbanization or growth or trade. I hope you got this point. Yeah, understood, everyone? Are we all aligned? Yeah, so we have discussed this part. Now, are Charvak atheist? You can say that they are atheistic, right? It is not about God. They don't believe in something which they have not seen. So since they have not seen God, you can call them atheist. What is the motive of Charvak? Charvak's motive is to lead a good life, lead a happy life, the life where people enjoy. Now what's happening? Many a times people don't enjoy their life because they are worried about something like moksha, right? I need to get into moksha somehow. I need this admission, right? I don't know where the form is, but I need this admission. So they are so much worried about moksha that sometimes they miss the whole the time of their life, the precious time of their life, right? Sometimes sometimes, for example, somebody worshipping, or let's say doing some ritual. Instead of, I said no, I told you that important things in life. What all things are important in life? One is for sure family, second is health, and third is the motive. Right? Only three things are important. Other than that, everything is manageable. Everything is like they come for some time, they stay for some time, and then they go. But what stays is family, health, and your passion, or basically your motive of the life. Only three things matter. Right now, if you actually circumpass, basically if you move away from these three things to chase something which is not at all relevant or not at all important, right? Then you actually waste a lot of precious time. Maybe family time, maybe you lose your health, and maybe you're not able to do what you love doing. Yeah. No, only one way of knowledge, which is not maybe somebody comes and tell you that, do you know Charvak, there is heaven. No, not about somebody telling you. It's not about hearing. It's not at all about hearing. It's about I have seen heaven or not. That matters. Yeah. Any doubt? Okay, so let's continue with why Buddhism. Right, we have like 10 minutes, so we can still finish this topic. So since we have already built up, so I think we can do this. See why Buddhism. So again, we were discussing this part only, Mahajanpada, rise of Mahajanpada. Right, we understand this part that agriculture is important over here. Right, these are the states. Right, this is the urban era. Now, to reach this urban era, somewhere around 500 BC. Somewhere around 500 BC, or you can write between 600 to 500 BC, a lot of challenges will come into picture. Right, just now we were discussing that part. Right, now there are reasons behind this challenge, multiple reasons why Buddhism is coming into picture. Now, one reason which you can say is the Varna system, very important. Right, even this Varna system is an issue. Reason because of this hierarchy. Why do you think that Kshatriya will agree to this hierarchy? So there will be Kshatriya reaction. Right, there will be Kshatriya reaction. They will be like, why second position? How come? So you realize that they are the one, because they are the warriors, they are the rulers. They will patronize those Shramana. Are you getting about the counter philosophy will be supported by Kshatriya, right? They will patronize maybe they will patronize Buddhism, right? They will patronize Jainism, they will patronize Ajivika. Also, many a times you will see that the founder of the religion, or the founder of the philosophy is himself a Kshatriya. Right? The founder himself is Kshatriya. Example, Buddha, Mahavir. Right? So many examples. Most of them were actually princes. Most of them actually belonged to the Kshatriya family. Right? So one system, yes. Second problem, Vaishya. Now Vaishya, since you are reaching this position, you are reaching, Mahajanpada part. So now the Vaishyas are becoming very, very important. Why? Now they are into trade, right? Also agriculture. Also they are giving a lot of taxes. Also now they have a lot of wealth because of this materialistic behavior. So they are wealthy as well. Now Vaishyas are also wealthy, right? They can also patronize, at least support. Understood? Similarly, Shudra, why will they agree to this fourth position? They will say, I'll join the other religion. Somebody who gives me equality, somebody who treats me equal. Right? So you must understand that it is society. It is basically the society which is asking for a new philosophy. Right? They want that change. They want the over reliance, the extra reliance on karma marg should be gone. We should move away from the karma marg. The whole society wants that, and that is the reason behind the rise of Buddhism. That is the reason behind decline of Brahmanism. Brahmanism means your Vedic philosophy, the Vedic thought, Brahmanical thought. So now onwards, we will call the whole Vedic philosophy, basically Hinduism. In ancient India, we call it as Brahmanism. Right? The decline of the whole Brahmanism will happen because there is over reliance on karma marga. Yeah. So one thing you must have understood is water system. Second, you see. So we were discussing Kshatriya reaction. Also, the agriculture, right? We cannot afford to have, because we are now into agriculture, so we cannot have cattle sacrifices. We can't afford to have cattle sacrifices. Does not go hand in hand. Is not aligned with the agriculture, right? So yes, there is demand. What we are trying to do, we are trying to understand the demand for this philosophy. We have already built a lot, so that is the reason I want to conclude this today. So yeah, so this is the reason behind the rise of Buddhism, rise of Jainism, rise of all the Shramanic traditions. Yeah. So the society is against killing cattle. Then we were discussing the importance of Vaishyas. Yes, so there is rise of cities, there is currency coming in. With this trade and all, the importance of Vaishya is increasing. They are the one who are basically providing taxes. They are the one who are supporting the states. Also, Vaishya, the business people, also want that there should be peace. There should be no violence. But Vedic philosophy was supporter of violence. Right? We remember, right? There were wars, Dasraja war, then later on again fierce wars, then Mahabharata. There were so many wars. So Aryas were known for wars. But now the philosophy is not interested in wars. Basically the Vaishya, the business people, they want peace. Because peace is good for business. Right? War is destructive. War is not at all good for business. Similarly, now there are books. Right? Now there are books like Dharma Sutra. We were discussing Dharma Sutra. Dharma Sutra also says that nobody should lend money. Now Vaishya is saying, why not to lend money, sir? I have extra capital. I want to invest it. I want to lend it to people on the interest. Sorry, you can lend money, but you cannot take interest. If I give you 100 rupees, I need to take back only 100 rupees. I cannot charge interest as per Dharma Sutra. So now my friend Vaishya, now he's saying that, why, sir? Why? Right? I have to charge. I have this much capital. I want it to grow, and that is the reason I need to charge interest. Right? So it will not make sense if I don't charge interest. So technically, everything is going against the time. Right? Again, a lot of people will be like, they will like, we don't want to get into this race. We don't want to get into this race of urbanization. I want this life. Can some philosophy offer me this life? Right? Buddhism will say, yes. Why not, sir? Please come. Right? Jainism will say, why not, sir? We will even take your clothes. Even without clothes, you are allowed. Understood? We take you to the next level of being ascetic. Right? Yeah. So these are the major reasons which will actually ensure that there will be rise of some other philosophy who actually fulfills all these demands. Now the another question, again a short one. Another question is why Buddhism became at number one? Why Buddhism became first? Right? What is there special in Buddhism? Because there were like 300 more religions or basically philosophies. What is special in Buddhism? Yeah. Why Buddhism is at number one? So now the reason behind Buddhism being at number one, of this being the dominant philosophy, multiple reasons. One is there is no concept of God in Buddhism, which makes this philosophy very, 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 very simple. Anybody can follow Buddhism. It's very simple, too simple. It's as simple as that you don't need to have desire. You should not have any desire or kill all the desires. It's as simple. Right? Though we'll go in deep, don't worry. But yeah. So basically non-recognition of God is one thing. Second, it is open for all. Whether you are woman, whether you are Shudra, right? Vash, everyone. Another important thing is personality of Buddha. Buddha, if you meet Buddha, you will become die-hard fan of Buddha. Right? Again, one common famous story I tell in every class. So the story goes like, there was a merchant who came to Buddha who was very angry with Buddha. And he started abusing Buddha. He came to the meeting and he started abusing Buddha. Now everybody said, wait, what are you doing? Buddha said, wait, stop. Let him continue. Right? So he continued abusing. Buddha listened to him for some time, right? Buddha was listening. Then once he was done, Buddha asked, sir, you are done? He said, yes, I'm done. Okay, assume that you brought a gift for me. Right? You brought a gift for me, and if I don't accept that gift, what will happen? If I just don't take that gift, what will happen? He said that gift will remain with me. Right? So Buddha said, yes. So now I don't accept all your abuses. I'm not accepting any of your abuses. And the person was like, oh, what means all the abuses are still with me? You're not accepting those abuses. So he also became fan. Sorry, sir, I made a mistake. I was not aware and all everything. Right? So yeah, that's how his personality is. If you meet Buddha, his personality is very, very easy. Also, he never goes into philosophical debates. He uses simple language of common man, not Sanskrit. He uses Pali, so that everybody understands what Buddha is saying. Right? Yeah. So he is using Pali. Plus, he also made sangha. He also made institutes, organizations, who ensures a whole network and who ensures the whole growth. So this was also a very, very smart move, a formation of sangha and all, right? So yeah, because of these sangha also, Buddha was able to spread a lot. And finally, there were great monarchs, great kings who were impressed by Buddhism and they supported. And if you're supported by people like Ashoka, people like Bimbisara, right? They take your religion to the next level. They take your philosophy to the next level. Because of all these reasons, because there is no God in this, it's very, very simple. Right? Anybody can join, whether it's woman or Sudra or something. It's open for all, equality, right? Equal status for everyone. Then Buddha's personality and use of Pali. Then your organization of sangha. I'll tell you what sangha is and how it comes into picture. Right? I'll tell you the whole story. But yes. And the last part is adoption of Buddhism by monarchs. Monarchs supported, kings supported, and that led to the rise of Buddha. Yeah. So there were other teachers as well. So Confucius, China, the same time, when there is Buddha, when there is Mahavir, there is Zoroaster in Iran, Parmenides in Greece, Buddhism, Jainism in India. Yeah. So we are done for today. So let's conclude. In next class on Monday. Most probably there will be some change in the timing of the class. That is gone now. There will be some changes in the timing of the class. First thing. Second, we'll start Buddhism, and from Monday we'll be having a bit longer classes. Right, maybe 2.5 hours or something. Right. So be prepared accordingly. Also, most probably from Monday we will also start our doubt discussion. Right. This thing. What that is? Doubt discussion on the doubt form. That is also something we will start. Yeah, so I'm done for today. If there's any doubt or something, please do let me know. Right, we can have that discussion for some time. Tomorrow class is there. No, we are not having a class tomorrow. Tomorrow is off. Right, please go ahead, revise everything, and we'll continue our discussion from. Was there any suffrage like movement or rising women demanded? No, it's not like that. There is no such movement where women demanded equality or something. Why Hinduism is limited to India? No, Hinduism is not limited to India. Hinduism is in Nepal, it is in Sri Lanka, it is in Indonesia. Right, so it is not limited to India. McGraw book author's name is Poonam Dalal. What does force means gravity? No, force means whose question is that? Sayam. Vaisheshika force does not mean gravity. Force, there are multiple types of forces, right? There are gravitational forces, then there are nuclear forces, right? So there are multiple types of forces. So yeah, it's not about gravity only, right? It's about forces which keeps everything together. Even in an atom or molecule, there are forces which keeps molecule together, right? It's not only about gravitational force. Again, I don't know why we're discussing. This is not important. UPSC will not ask that whether it is gravitational force or not. Achha, mind maps, I'll make a compilation of my mind maps and I'll share that compilation in the Telegram channel only. Yeah, I'll make that complete compilation, whatever mind maps I made till now, and I will share it in the Telegram channel. Yeah. Important in other countries, but not important in our country. Buddhism. Yes, we'll come to that story. Let me complete that story. We are not started yet anything. Right? We have to start Buddhism. I'll tell you the life of Buddha. I'll tell you how it got spread. Then later on we'll talk about Ashoka and all the spread and everything. So we'll talk Buddhism in detail. We'll discuss Buddhism in detail. Do not worry about that. Yeah. Let's keep our answer writing discussion to the culture course and modern India course. Right, we'll hardly be able to spare some time because spare time in ancient India. Reason there is so much content. Also, you are new, and that is the reason we'll wait for the. Also, ancient India does not directly contribute to mains exam. Right, it contributes to the mains exam via culture. So that is the reason it's not logical. It's not advisable to go for answer writing in this thing in ancient India. So we'll go for some answer writing in modern India and art and culture. Also, we'll be having dedicated discussions on answer writing. What is the time? Any idea? Tomorrow we'll have that discussion. I'll update in the Telegram channel. The Telegram channel. Those who are not on Telegram channel, let me tell you the name of the channel. Name of the channel is Abhishek _ PW UPSC wala. Right, it's my name. Abhishek _ PW UPSC wala. This is the channel. Maybe you can keep this as capital. Right, Abhishek. Yeah. Okay. So everything is theoretical in theoretical here. Yes, it is theoretical. Right. We are relying upon till now. We were relying upon all the religious sources. Right. Our discussion was based upon all the religious sources and some archaeology. Right. Theoretical. Yes, theoretical. Okay. Sampurna notes. I'm not very sure. By when it will be ready, but I'm assuming it will be out. Very soon. From 8 to 10:30, I think it will be a bit early, not 8 to 10:30, maybe a bit early. Yeah. So let me have that discussion, whatever is possible, and get back to you guys. Okay. Charvak again is in Gangetic belt only, no? In the Ganga Yamuna belt, yes. Can we say that there is a break in line of history after IBC and Vedic period? Yes, there is a break in history. That there was you can say rise of IBC, and then after that Aryans are basically a new wave. So a new story starts from Aryans. Charvak social division look like and social order based upon which philosophy? No, Charvak social division, see, it's more like a thought process. It's not like they are dividing a social division or something. It's not like that, right? Okay. Rather than Vivekananda will not make it. We will be like, I want to prepone. I don't want to go for 11 o'clock. Make class at day because of Ramadan. Okay, careful. I'm not sure when is Ramzan, so Ramzan also. Okay, got it. Got it. See, the batches will have to be conducted, on a specified time, taking care of everything else. So yeah, so let me have that discussion tomorrow. And yeah, okay. Are we all Aryans? We are all Indians, right? We are not Aryans, right? We are Indians. Okay, so did usage of currency took place in Buddhism? Yes, yes. It started around that around, right? Buddhism, Mahayana, yes, came around. So right now we will be somewhere between 600 BC to 500 BC, where rise of states are about to happen. Basically, have started happening. Yeah. Okay. Let's meet again on Monday, right? And you have a doubt form as well. If there's any doubt pending, please fill that doubt form, and I'll get back to you on Monday. Ayurvedic period, don't kill cattle again. No, it was only about cow. June Fosters. June, it was only about cow. Less cattle they can kill. They used to kill. They were killing. Right? Ajit Kumar is still disabled. You are able to write. Okay. 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 Thank you guys. Okay. Yeah, wait for it. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. See you again on Monday. Bye. Take care. Bye.